here for just a few minutes. We'll hang in for just a few minutes more here and then officially get started on the conversation with Enrique Guerrero. And yeah, so it's an exciting time here. Thanks force members for showing up and being a part of putting this all together. And we're just going to wait for another minute or two here for people to come in and participate in this conversation about reclamation on mined land, which is just really exciting. I hope that you all had a chance to look at the one presentation, one video of Enrique and the mine and the working, was it working soils? Is that what the working landscape, the podcast that we had an interview with as well. Good information, good prep for this meeting here. So yeah, and we had a taste of spring, but not the full meal here, it looks like, huh?
We're ready for the rain now.
Yeah. The ground thaw out enough to soak it up.
Oh yeah, it's ready.
All right. And yeah, how are people coming, Branya? Are they ready to come in?
Yep, they can come in whenever, so
Okay.
we can get started if you'd want to, John.
Sure. Well, so yeah, I'm John Brown. I'm the chair of the Northern Plains Resource Council Soil Task Force that is co-hosting this meeting along with the coal task force. And we're really excited to bring Enrique Guerrero in to tell us what's happening. This is a Zoom meeting, so all attendees have the ability to turn your audio and video on and off yourself. We won't be doing that, but we ask you to please keep yourself muted until it's time for the question and answer later on. We don't have a lot of time for back and forth in this meeting, and this is a pretty big meeting, so just having people unmute themselves free of for all style is not going to really work for us. You'll have the chance to ask questions later, but if you have a question before then, go ahead and use the chat function and we'll see if we can get it answered when we're in the question and answer period. So let's just step into the good stuff here, and Steve is going to go over why we've all gathered here today and introduced our speaker. Thanks for being here, everyone. And Steve, if you want to step in here now, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, John. So I am Steve Charter. I'm a rancher here north of Billings, and I'm really excited that to be able to have Enrico here today to tell us about this work he's been doing with mine reclamation with high density stocking. And I was exposed to the ideas of Alan Savory back in the early 80s, and I'm very excited to apply these principles to my own ranch, but it immediately occurred to me that this would be the ideal thing for coal mine reclamation. And we did a little work on that, but it never really fully took off. So I think with the work of the two, we have two task forces here today, the coal task force that very concerned with reclamation, and the soil task force that is really excited about the possibilities of regeneration and using livestock. So I think we've had, there's been some pretty good work on revegetation on some of the coal mines, but it's taken a long time. Some of this land's been out of production for probably close to 40 years. And the requirement, it doesn't really have to be back in full production for another 10 years after. And that's just a lot of time for this land to be out of production. And it could be in production, providing jobs and things for the economy. And I think what Enrique is going to tell us is we could do this stuff a lot faster. And so that's kind of what we're thinking with coal mine. And then, with all the things with transforming over from fossil fuels, all these new technologies take a lot of mining. And so we just really need to get on top of how we're going to put this mine land and get it back into production. So with that, I would turn it over to Enrique to just tell us what he's been doing, and then at the end we have lots of time. But I guess right before that, I guess our objectives here today is to educate ourselves about mine land reclamation utilizing livestock, and hear how Enrique has been doing this, and then to set our groundwork for future collaboration priorities between the coal task force and the soil task force, and then to encourage us to think more creatively with what Montana Department of Environmental Quality, coal mining, reclamation, and hard rock could look like. And now I'll pass it on and we'll get started. But as John said, please hold your questions till the end, and we have 20 minutes at the end, and we'll adjourn about 6. But the coal and soil task force will probably stay on and debrief. So with that, I'll shut up and turn it over to Enrique.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Hello, my friends. My name is Enrique Guerrero. I am from Chihuahua, Mexico. All my life, I have been a rancher. I born in a ranch in Chihuahua, and I went to college in Oklahoma. I studied animal science and farm and ranch management. And all my life, I have been with livestock, on the livestock production. I have the same problems. We have the same problems in Mexico and Chihuahua, like you. The drought, the prices, the same problems. But after I bought my ranch, I realized that if I don't do something different, think out of the box, my ranch was beautiful when we bought it. We have a lot of perennial grasses. We have very grass cover on the ground. And after a few years doing the traditional grazing, we started, selling cows because every time that every year we were watching less grass. I hope you understand my English is not very good, but if you don't understand me, it's gonna be very easy. You're gonna understand with the pictures. You're gonna see what the cattle can do. Anyway, so we think that we need to do something on the ranch, because we were subsidizing the ranch from other business, and the ranch was no grass, no good weights on the cattle, no good pregnancy. And we say, well, we need to pay attention on the ground. We are killing the soils, and we were focusing on produce big cows, big cows with big cows. And, so we start looking for answers. So we heard about Alan Savory, and we tried to meet Alan and try to start doing some regeneration, and that helped us a lot. Alan Savory helped us a lot, but we think that was not enough. The Savory and Savory Plus, methods was not very good to improve the soils fast. We think if we have less rain, we need something better than Alan Savory. So we met Ian Mitchell also from Africa, and good results, but no, we were not happy with the results. So we start doing a lot of research, and we made an association like you guys in Chihuahua. Is called Regenerative Ranch Management Association. We are a lot of people now. So we heard about Johan Sisman and the ultra high density grazing method with him. So we called him, and he came to Chihuahua, and he gave us a talk, and I took him to my ranch at the mountains. My ranch is at the mountains. The terrain is rocky. We have pine trees, oak trees, cedar, good grasses, good perennial grasses is called, and we have good rain, about 800 millimeters per year. So when Johan Silman went to my ranch and told me, I used to have 500 cows, and he told me, on this ranch, at least with the regenerative ranch management, you can have 1,500 cows. It's like to buy two more ranches, without buying the ranches. Just you need to do high density grazing. So we start. He explained how to do the high density, and how to, after the high density, do ultra high density grazing. So we start, and we made a lot of mistakes. Believe me, the body condition went down, and the pregnancy rate, everything. We did a lot of mistakes doing that. But the mistakes were on the cows, on the herd. The herd paid for our mistakes, but the soils, the results were immediately. After a few rains, we start watching new species that we didn't see at the ranch, and so we try to balance between, improve the soil and take care of the cattle. But the best results, after a lot of research, the Savory Plus, Arnold Crocker, Ian Mitchell, we tried a lot of advices, but this one really works, the Johan Silman. So the association start increasing, and we start doing some consulting to other cattlemen in Chihuahua, try to help them not to do the same mistakes. And after a few years, after a good results on the ground, in 3 years, I had from 500 cows. In 3 years, I have doubled 1,000 cows. But the first ranch, there. You know, Carretas Ranch, that ranch is our school. Every month we have people from the whole world having a workshop over there, and we show them that ranch is 30,000 acres with 3,000 cows. So it's a lot. It's a lot of cattle in, you know, in 30,000 acres. And that ranch, I think, is the most profitable and sustainable. So after we work on the soil, we start working on the right genetics. You know, we realize that we have genetics to do a good job on the field. You know, our calves were light, very light. We sell calves about around 400 pounds. And after the regeneration, we start selling calves on 600, 700 pounds. But we realized that we had to work on the genetics. Our genetics were like, we are producing like pigs, you know, the calves did a very good job on the feedlot. So the feedlot buyers were very happy, but we realized had to improve the genetics with, you know, to convert the grass faster into meat, you know. So Johann Sidman, you know, told us about this breed Mashona cattle from Africa. So we start bringing Mashona semen and we start inseminating the cows with Mashona to do a composite, you know. So that genetics, Mashona genetics, we have Hereford and Angus, and we put it like a quarter blood Mashona, and incredible. The results were incredible. We have early maturing. We have good body condition. Everything improved with using Mashona blood from Africa. So after having good grasses and a good composite, more people are joining our association until a guy came to me and asked me to do some consulting on his ranch. I invite him a talk with Johann Sidman, and he said, "Can you help me in my ranch?" And I say, "Yes. What I need first? Well, you need a lot of water to do high density." And we went to his ranch and realized that he has already water everywhere on his ranch to do a 500 cows per hectare density. And the results, like all the people, amazing, very, very fast. 1 year, 200% double production on grasses. So he called me and he called me one night. Here's where the story at the mine starts. This guy, this rancher, was the CEO from Agnico Eagle, Mexico. And he called me about 1 a.m. during the night, you know, and he said, "Hey, I can't sleep, and I was thinking about to do it in the mine." Excuse me. And I say, "At the mine? No, it's impossible. The mine's regeneration, no, it's impossible." And he said, "Hey, please, let's try to do it. I have the money, I have authorization to do it." So I called Johann Sidman and asked, "Hey, I have a new job doing regeneration in the mine." And he said, "Well, we don't know about that, but go and see the mine. And if you see some brushes over there, some weeds, some forbs, let's do it. So I went and I checked the terrain. Was, believe me, you're gonna see the pictures, just rocks and pebbles, not topsoil. And they told me, hey, we need to do it without using topsoil. So let's do it. What do you need? We have the money. What do you want to buy and everything? So we start on the picture. You can see before and after a few days working at the mine. So we start. I had, my ranch is very close to that mine. The mine is at the mountains in Chihuahua. Good rain, but that doesn't mean that if we have less rain, it's impossible to do it. No, you can do it anywhere. So we start with 100 cows. I had 100 open cows in my ranch, and I told him, hey, we need the right cattle, the right genetics, and cattle that are in the same ecosystem like the mine. So I have 100 cows that they are a good herd to start. So we brought 100 open cows from my ranch that they were open, they didn't get pregnant. So we took them to the mine. We have a portable corrals, and we took it to the mine in February 2019. And we start doing the density. The method was, before to put the cattle in, we call it bedroom, 20 meters by 25, one day, 24 hours in one bedroom. We put 4 species of perennial grasses in the rocks, and then we cover we start with 6 inches of corn stalks. We cover the ground, the bedroom, with corn stalks after the seed. And we put the cattle there. The density was 2,500 cows per hectare. That was the density. So 4 meters, square meters per cow. So they were very close, very high density. And we feed them with alfalfa and oats and a little bit of corn stalk. And we put them 500 grams for protein. And also on the protein, we put seeds. So right there, you can see all the cattle together. On the left, we have snowfalls about 3 times during that year. And, the cattle were together. You cannot see the corn stalk, but in another picture, you're going to see it. So right there on you can see the yellow soil is a bedroom that we already work. So the terrain was step, what was you can see over there, all the cattle together. Amazing. I spend 8 hours per day watching the cows. I was there, and I realized that they were not, we pay attention on. I told the miners, if we lose body condition, I cannot kill cattle. I won't kill cattle. But we didn't lose any condition, and believe me, there was steppy over there. So that right there on the left, you can see the rocky terrain. And the picture on the right, it's a manure, it's a manure. A cow went out from the bedroom, and and we have a manure outside, and you can see the regrowths on the manure on the bottom of the right picture. So we started in February. By April, we started watching regrowths, from without rain, just with the humidity that produce the high density. We we start with some green grasses growing in April. So we are talking about 3 months later, we have a few results. And right there on the left picture, is after the the regeneration. We have some deers coming into the land. All the wildlife came to the ranch. Dung beetles also, and wild turkeys, deers. So the wildlife came back to the ranch. In this mine, they used to put the regeneration that they used to have is put, some topsoil. They put some seeds and try to put water, but never they have the same results. Never. So if you want to put another picture to explain it, so
Those are the ones I had, but I can maybe go to
No.
the email too.
no, don't worry. Okay, on the left is October. The after we are talking about 9 months, 8 months, and the results were incredible. I thought that it's gonna take about 2 years to have these results, and no, in 8, 9 months we have the results. The rain was about 700 millimeters that year, so less rain than the usual, but the results were in 8, 9 months. So that's the reason that, can you imagine in the ranches what the cows can do? So 8, 9 months, 10 months, and like a golf course, to play golf. So I don't know if you have any question, but I have another. We took 99 cows and 1 bull. That bull that we put on the herd, was damaged, the prepuce. So we thought that that bull was not working, and we put it with the cows, and we have 65%, 65 cows, 65% cows pregnant on that mountain, on that regeneration. So we thought that the bull was not working, and he pregnant 65 cows. So I asked the miners to do some business, to fat the cows and sell the meat, and I was trying to do some business, and they say, no, you just focus on the regeneration, and we wait for the business later. But if we do, you guys can do like a mobile feedlot on the regeneration, and do business with the cattle. I believe steers or heifers can do the job. Right there is the pens that we bought a mobile pens in that picture. And it's when the cattle arrived to the mine. You can see nothing on the soil, just the rocky terrain. Okay, let me explain this picture. I sent you this picture, but you know, it's not from the mine. It's from one of the ranches on the left. It's amazing, this picture, because you can see the rain and the regeneration with high density on the left, and it's raining. You know, it's raining on the left. On the right, no good grass cover, and no raining. It's incredible, because exactly on the fence to the left is raining, you know, and we need to see to believe, you know, what the nature does. And can you see? But it's not from the mine, that picture. It's one of the ranchers. Right there, you can see how is the terrain, you know, the cattle. We have to graze the cattle, to put the cattle sometimes like four days per week on the hills, you know, and then we move into the top, to the flat areas to rest, because they use a lot of muscle, you know, to stand up in those places. You can see the terrain, just rocks. Right there, on that picture, you can see the squares. It's a bedroom work, and we have about right there. We have about 1 month doing regeneration. You right there is with the first rain in July. The rain started in that area, and after I believe the 1st of July started the rain, and that picture is from 8 days later. Right there, that picture is, you can see the green grass growing without rain, just with the humidity that produces the cattle. No rain. Well, just one snowfall, but you can see the green grasses growing. Right there, that picture is about last days in July. More the grass was covering the rocks. Almost you cannot see any rocks. Right there, and another, that's okay, that you can see rocks, is when the grass start growing. We use 4 perennial grasses from that area, you know. And well, as you can see, if you do it with the right cattle, I suggest the regeneration must be with the right cattle, the right genetics, and it's possible. It's possible on anywhere. This project was the first project in mines in the worldwide. You know, we were the first regeneration project using cattle, and we won the award. I don't know if you want to put the video that we made. Do you have the video from YouTube?
Yeah. Thanks, Enrique. Yeah, we went ahead and we sent the video out before the meeting, but
Okay.
maybe we'll just go ahead and move on to questions. But thank you so much, and we'll definitely send out the video again too.
Yeah,
Yes.
thanks, Enrique, and now there's a lot of information there, and I'm sure stimulated a lot of questions from people. So we'll have time now to ask you some questions. So if you have a question, go ahead and raise your hand or put your question in the chat, and we'll see what we can come up with. But it's really exciting that this is possible. So who's got some questions here? Yeah, Steve.
So Enrique, I'm kind of thinking on how to get some of the mining companies or the mining reclamation people to kind of be open to these ideas. And I think a lot of what their present mindset is, they've done all this careful reclamation work and they're almost scared to let cattle get on it because they just, don't have that understanding that cattle can be managed to actually to help it. So, and I think they're kind of skeptical of of us. I don't think, I think they would be more likely to hear it from other miners. And so I was just wondering if you think there would be a way to kind of, get these miners talking with miners that have done it to kind of maybe start getting people to open their minds up to this. I just wondering what you thought about that.
Yeah, for sure. They can go to the mine also and see the work, the results. But yeah, for sure, they can call the CEO and ask about everything. The only problem that I see is on regeneration is that if you are close to the cornstalk production, because the cornstalk it's a good product to cover the ground, but I don't see a problem if they want to go to the mine and see the results. Right now, one mine in Peru is doing regeneration with cattle, one in Africa, another one in Argentina. So we have several mines doing this in the world,
Thank you. Bill.
Yeah, this is all very cool. So following up on Steve's deal, I mean, in terms of something we can do after this meeting is, could we just somehow figure out how to set up a call between miners and Enrique and someone from our group, and just without anyone advocating anything, just let these guys tell their story. And, that might lead to an exchange in visits between some of these foreign companies in different countries to come look at reclamation in Montana. But I guess another question for you, Enrique. So when did this start, and how has the cover changed? I mean, once you did all this really heavy impact work and you got really good, to do this, you had to have a lot of dollars from the mining company to create these opportunities on this really Spartan environment. But what's the longest period of time that these grasses have established, and how have you seen those grasses change over time? And do you keep grazing these places once you get the cover started?
Well, we do the job for 1 year, and we have the results in 9 months. You can see grass and no rocks. And after, of course, in a ranch, you want to see the grass and you want to establish the grass and eat it, you know. The second year we start after the rains in October. On the second year, we put cattle there, and we didn't feed the cattle. The cattle, you know, ate all the grasses and put the manure again in the ground. So that on the second year, we let's say 18 months later, we graze those mountains with cattle. 18 months after the regeneration.
So this would be, I mean, I'll just say one more thing and stop and let others ask, but I mean, in a best possible outcome world, I mean, you could, to get some young people into agriculture by raising mine reclamation, and that would be a really fun story if it actually all could come together. But I think getting a conversation going between the players would be important. But anyway, thanks, and I'll stop.
Yeah, and thanks, Bill. And we have a question from Jeannie asking, how did the cattle water at the mine site?
Oh, good question. We have on the top of the mountain, we have a water tank, and we we have mobile water troughs. You know, we put them before in the morning. We gave them water before we move into the new bedroom, and at noon we have a mobile water trough to put the water in the bedroom.
All right. Great. Any other questions? Yeah, Steve.
So as far as cattle genetics, is the main thing to have would be disposition to have cattle that would be comfortable in those close circumstances, or are there other big factors with the genetics?
No, well, when I mention genetics, is when you are doing regeneration with high density, and you want to create a business, a grass-fed business. So you really need to work on genetics, because, you know, right now the people in Chihuahua are using no more feed, no more cake, no more protein, nothing. With just, you know, minerals and salt. And that's why when I mention, you know, that we need to really work on genetics to do a good business. You know, right now in the ranch that I am in Texas, we are doing the grass-fed operation, but you need to think on you know, on a good composite for your a good composite, and also the color for you know, for your ranch to do the best job. You know, we brought Machona here to Texas, where I'm working, and the results are, you know, we don't have shades, we don't have trees over here. So in July, August, September is
Oops.
is incredible, the heat tolerance from this breed. But at the, if you work on the mines, for sure you need cattle close to that ecosystem, you know, to take care of the body condition. You don't want to bring cattle from other place that is not close to the mine. It's preferable that the genetics are around that place, you know.
All right. Thanks. Bill, you have another question.
Enrique is like, are you part of that group that like Alejandro Carrillo, is he all part of that too, circle?
Yes, sir. Yes. Alejandro Carrillo is one of my mentors, my teachers. We are in the same group.
Right.
Yes, yes, sir.
So
He's-
I just want to share with folks, you know, another sort of interesting circle I'm part of is called the Central Grasslands Roadmap, where they're just trying to deal with the whole North American biome and taking care of, you know, just trying to restore a lot of the northern plains and southern plains. And so Alejandro and we had a bunch of those ranchers from Chihuahua come up to one of our summits. And I think taking a trip down to that group in Mexico, down to your country and put our feet in the ground that you guys are working on, because I've been hearing a number of stories from your players down there, and then think about the rain. You know, I think that might have been on Alejandro's ranch where he talks about the rain following following these kind of practices. So there's a pretty rich group down there that would be nice to get to know better. Yeah, you
yeah,
guys
Alejandro
are doing great
Carrillo's
work.
ranch is, I believe it's about 11 inches per year, and he's doing a lot of grass with 11 inches, you know. His ranch is at the Chihuahuan desert. My ranch is at the mountains, more rain, but believe me, his ranch is incredible. Also, a lot of people visit his ranch because you can see in a desert a lot of perennials, a lot of green grasses during the winter, during the spring, you know, without rain.
Yeah, very cool. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jeannie suggests because they raise Wagyu cattle that they might be really adaptable to this kind of application. Or they're small frame, they eat less and get big and marble on just a little bit.
Yeah, that kind of cattle is a small and is good for the high density, and also you can put a herd of Wagyu and do a mobile feedlot, you know. You move it every day in a bedroom that we call a bedroom, and just like a feedlot.
Yeah, that's really an interesting concept, of mobile feedlot. Gusty, did you have a question?
I do. I was wondering, Enrique, could you speak a little bit more about what types of mine lands you've reclaimed, or what kinds of mines, and if best practices have changed at all, or change at all depending on what type of mine is being reclaimed?
I'm sorry, I had a call and I couldn't listen the
Yeah. I was just asking, I was curious what types of mines you've worked on reclaiming or revegetating, and if practices change depending on what type of mining it is for the work you've been doing.
I think we lost him.
Yeah, maybe he just has to jump back on. He probably got a call.
Yeah. Well, so we'll wait a little bit and see if he comes back on. In the meantime, we'll
There we go.
oh, there he is again. Okay, great.
I'm sorry, I lost communication. You know, I am in the ranch and we have a lot of air, a lot of wind, you know.
We can.
Yeah. So Brania was wondering what other kinds of mines are using this, the one in Peru and Africa and Argentina. What kinds of mines?
Well, in Africa, is a mine on the desert. You know, it's different ecosystem, and they they are doing an amazing job because, you know, in Africa they put all the cattle together during the night by, you know, the grazing in Africa. They graze during the day, and during the night they put all the cattle together in a pens because the predators, you know. So in Africa is very easy because they do that. The cattle sleep together. So we have an idea, you know, if you have a mine and you can graze the cattle in the grazeland during the day and put it during the night to sleep in the mine, it's very, very cheap, you know. We learned that from Africa. You graze the cattle during the day and you put the cattle to spend the night in the mine, and that's very cheap, you know. So, but in Africa is desert, you know, and also coal mines like you, and Peru is very, very difficult on that place because it's very, very high altitude, and they don't have corn stock close to the. So in Peru is very expensive, the regeneration, but they are still doing, and in Argentina are doing the same. They are grazing the cattle close to the mines during the day and put it to sleep during the night in the mines, you know. So that's another alternative that you can do in Montana. If you can graze the cattle and do alleys, electric fence with alleys, and take them during the night to sleep in the mine, you know.
All right, great. That's fascinating. And are the genetics that you brought in from Africa, are they can we bring in that kind of genetics here? You're talking about having genetics living close to the mine or close to the ecosystem where they're being grazing, I suppose that would.
No, to start doing regeneration, you just use your genetics from you know the genetics that you have, you know. Just I recommend that depending on the mine, medium and small size, you know, to take him to the mine. Medium cow frame 4, something like that. But also if when I mention genetics is to improve on your ranches, you know. If you put I suggest a quarter machona, you're gonna have better results on the meat, you know. If you are doing a grass-fed operation, I recommend to work on genetics, but just I suggest medium or small cows for the mine, you know. Not big cows. We sold about from 100 cows, we had to sell 10 cows, 10 big cows that they were doing bad on this steppe terrain, you know.
Yeah, so being careful, observing what's happening to the cows as well as what's happening to the ground.
Yes, sir. You're gonna see cattle, big cattle on the mines, especially if the mines are the same like the pictures. They lose the body condition very fast, you know. So I suggest medium size will be perfect to do the regeneration.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Great. Thank you so much. We're gonna have to wrap up because we've got other people who have time considerations. And just want to, give you a big thank you, Enrique, for taking your time to be with us today and get a conversation started that I'm sure is going to go in wonderful directions. So let's give Enrique a big round of applause. Thank you for showing up with us. And and then can we is it okay if people contact you?
Yes.
Okay, and so can we get his email address in the chat?
Yes, for
And-
sure. And anybody that needs my help, questions, like I said, we made a lot of mistakes that I don't want you to make. We have a lot of experience building the electric fences. We are doing on the ranches like a fish bond. A lot of small. I don't know if you are doing that, but water, fences, genetics, sometimes we don't do, depends on the period of the year, we do ultra high density grazing, high density, sometimes we do selective grazing. So depends on the ranch, but we learn from the cows when to do it and when not to do it. So do not hesitate to contact me. Any questions? I am 24/7 to help you.
Oh, right. Wonderful. Thank you so much. And so